Everyone, and welcome to our inaugural episode of Action News. My name is Katrina Bowman Thomas, Executive Director for Northern Kentucky Community Action Commission, and we are so excited that you are here with us on today. Community Action works with individuals and families right here in this community to help them to thrive. And on Action News, we're going to spotlight some of our programs so you can get a better understanding of the services that we provide in our community. We're also going to talk with community members and partners about the opportunities that are presenting themselves in our community, as well as talk about those hard questions and those hard problems that we have to face. And we know that we can face those together. On today's episode, it's Black History Month, and we're going to talk with Commissioner Ron Washington about Black history right here in our community and hear what he has to say about how can we begin to come together and unite as a community. February is also tax season, so we're going to talk about our financial empowerment program, earned income tax credit, as well as the VITA program that provides free financial empowerment and tax preparation for the entire community. So stay tuned, come back, Action News, we're right here for you.
Northern Kentucky Community Action Commission has created 5 new programs that care for our community. These programs are building blocks to move you forward. Do you have an immediate shelter crisis? Impact 180 provides emergency services for hard-to-reach communities, including non-English speakers and those that might be homeless. Are you ready to work and build a career? Career Kickstart helps you get jobs, keep jobs, and get better jobs, even if that means we're driving you to work. Do you have questions about growing your income? Savvy Savings teaches budgeting and financial growth. We're here to coach you to financial stability. Got a great new idea? Ignite Innovations is a grant pitch opportunity for business owners and entrepreneurs. Ready to change the world? Amplify All Voices organizes our community into advocacy for racial equity and social justice. Join us in shaping the future. NKCAC cares. Whether your need is expected or takes you by surprise, we're here to help build towards self-reliance. It's time for your obstacles to become opportunities. Visit nkcac.org for more information on how we can grow together.
Welcome back, everyone. February kicks off tax season, and that brings challenges to all of us. But today I have with me Mike Miser. He is the manager for our financial empowerment program, and he's going to give us some tips on what we should do to get ready for tax season. Welcome, Mike.
Thank you so much, Katrina. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, so glad you're here with us. So tell us a little bit about the financial empowerment program. What is it all about?
Okay, so really the financial empowerment program is all about leading our clients to financial stability, financial independence, and we have several different programs that fall under that umbrella. The backbones of the program really are our financial counseling and financial education opportunities, but we also have some programmatic elements that take place over different parts of the year. We have our IDA program, our VITA program, our Payment Plus program, our TBRA program.
Oh, wow, it's a lot of initials.
Yes,
so what is
right.
IDA? What does IDA stand for?
The Individual Development Account, and it is a savings match program. So the way that that works is clients have up to 12 months to set a savings goal and meet it, and upon their meeting of that goal, we'll match it 100% up to $1,000.
Oh.
And then along the way, they have the opportunity to earn $500 worth of incentives, and Heritage Bank, which is our partner bank for the program, will throw in an additional $250 after 6 months of successful upkeep of the account.
Oh, very nice. So you can earn additional money
Correct,
from the
yes.
bank as well as from us.
You can come out of that with an investment of $1,000 and come out with $2,750.
Oh, very, very nice. We all like to double our
Yes,
money.
right? Absolutely.
Whenever.
Great opportunity.
Exactly.
Great opportunity.
So how has the community responded to these programs? Like, how many people do you have enrolled, and what are you seeing happen out there?
So we've actually gotten a really, really great response. Over the course of the last year, we were able to serve over 900 households,
wow.
Which has led to almost 2,000 individuals being served.
Wow.
For each of those programs.
And so what has been the impact of that? When I hear, they put $1,000 in and it's matched, what types of impacts are you seeing by this community?
So across our financial empowerment program, there are several outcomes that we hope to see, and it could be any number of these. It could be attaining and operating under a sustainable budget. It could be an increased credit score. It could be opening a savings account or increasing your savings account. It could be purchasing an asset, specifically through some of our individual programs. Our VITA program, which is our Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program, helped 183 clients receive over $300,000 in tax returns. Our Payment Plus program is a partnership with Duke Energy, and it allows clients to earn money toward their past due balances. And we were able to serve almost 60 clients, and they were able to pay nearly $30,000 towards their arrears for the Duke Payment Plus program. And then our TBRA program, which is our Tenant-Based Rental Assistance Program, which serves our rural counties, Grant, Carroll, Owen, Pendleton, and Gallatin. Just in the last few months of last calendar year, we were able to pay over $20,000 in past due rent through that program.
Wow, that is so impactful. So it's not just helping that individual family, but it's also supporting that community, because as we are in the midst of COVID, you know, it's a balance for the tenants as well as for those landlords.
Absolutely.
You know, they're struggling right now too.
Yes.
And so thinking about COVID, how has that sort of impacted these programs? What have you seen as a result of that?
So the primary result for our program has been that we've had to drastically reduce the number of educational outreaches that we've been able to be a part of. We have been able to continue to virtually serve most of our clients on a one-to-one counseling basis. But as vaccinations increase and hopefully as the ramifications of COVID decrease, we should be able to get back to operating business as usual, hopefully in the not too distant future.
Hey, I'm all with you.
Right.
So Mike, what is one key tip to think about to help us save, or to help us to plan for that savings goal?
Sure. Actually, I'm going to give you a few, if that's okay. First of all, come see us. Everything, all of our financial counseling services are free of charge. There are no income guidelines. You make $100 a month, you make $100,000 a month, you can come see us. And what we'll be able to do is we'll help you to be able to get a sustainable budget down on paper that you can follow and maintain. Another tip, the easiest way I can tell you to save money is to spend less than you make.
What?
That's right, yeah. That's obviously easier said than done.
Yes.
So having that budget on paper is really going to help you determine whether your expenses align with your income, right? And if that's not the case, then you have to take a look at needs versus wants. And sometimes you have to make some difficult decisions.
Yeah.
But when it comes down to it, it's always worth it to make those difficult decisions.
It sure is. Thank you so much, Mike, and that's important to make sure we stay within our budgets. Number one, that discipline. We so appreciate you and your time and all of the work that you do in our community. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. The tragic deaths of Breonna Taylor and George Floyd are a stark reminder that we as a country still have a long way to go to achieve racial justice and social equality. And that's one of the reasons why we at Community Action Commission strive to be an agent of change to make great things happen. The Community Action Commission actually was born of the Civil Rights Movement in the 1960s, which is why we ensure that all of our programs make sure that they provide equal justice for all. My name is Kareem Simpson, and here today to talk about social justice and Black History Month, we have newly elected Covington Commissioner Ron Washington. Ron, thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
So since we were kind of talking about racial justice and Black history, you're actually from the Northern Kentucky area, is that right?
Yes, I'm from Covington.
Okay. And as far as you now are on commission, how's that going? How are you liking that?
Well, as one of my fellow commissioners warned me, he said it's like drinking from a fire hose. Our city here in Covington is going in great directions, but there's a lot of things that's happening, and there's a lot of things to learn. I've lived here over 50 years, and my first day on the job, I'm learning about our great community.
Great. So is there anything big on the horizon that you want to announce here today?
Nothing that you don't know about already.
Okay, I thought we would be the first for breaking news, but I guess not. So, as I mentioned at the top of the segment, that this is Black History Month, and Northern Kentucky area, especially Covington, has historically been a great, rich place for Black history, just because its close proximity to the Ohio River, one of the last stops on the Underground Railroad to freedom, and you actually have a unique role in the Northern Kentucky Black history. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, I was the first African American hired by the city of Florence as a police officer. So I was with the city of Florence, became a police officer. That was a challenge in itself, being the only minority out there. And then after I left the Florence Police Department, I went to work for the Kenton County Sheriff's Office as the Chief Deputy Sheriff. And what that means is I was the guy right underneath the High Sheriff that ran the day-to-day operations, and my rank was Colonel. And being a Colonel, I was the highest ranking African American police officer in Northern Kentucky.
So for the history buffs out there, what years were those? What were the span of years?
Oh boy, you're going to test my memory. About 1989 to 2005, 2009.
Okay, so close to a 20-year span in
Absolutely.
the police force in the rural area. So what were some challenging things about that when you were in that role?
Well, one of the things was that it was new for everyone involved. The citizens, some of the areas, they were not, you would think it was the 80s, but they were not used to dealing with an African American, especially an African American in an authority position. So that was adjustment for some of the citizens. Now, I will say this. Some of my fellow officers, they welcomed me with open arms. Some didn't. But as you know, being a Black man, that's the walk that we make every day in life.
Mm-hmm. And one thing that that a lot of people in Kenton County in this area don't realize is that how small or how concentrated the African American population is right now in the area. Just recently, I read a statistic that 5% of the Kenton County population is African American, and that was an eye opener for me because I just didn't realize that African Americans made up such a small percentage of the population in Kenton County. But when you have African Americans that kind of rise to some of the political spaces that you've held, I think it makes it that much more prominent and prevalent when you see that. Throughout history, can you tell me a little bit about other African Americans that kind of ascended to higher levels of politics in the area?
Sure. You know, before me on the Covington City Commission, you had Mr. Jim Simpson. We probably all remember Mr. Simpson. He was the funeral director for many years, had a funeral home on Garrett Street, Jones and Simpson Funeral Home. He was the first city commissioner for the city of Covington. And also, just a little side note, Mr. Simpson was a deputy sheriff. So he was a deputy sheriff that worked part-time for the Kenton County Sheriff's Office, and he was that first African American on the Kenton County Sheriff's Office. So you had Mr. Simpson. Then also you had Pamela Mullins. Pamela Mullins was a city commissioner for the city of Covington. She resides on our east side, and she still to this day is involved in our community, and she loves our community. And right now I'm serving with Michelle Williams. Michelle Williams has been on the city commission, I think, the last 3 terms. So that's pretty much it for the city of Covington, that's elected officials. But you have Mayor Billy Bradford for Ellesmere, African American, great guy. I don't believe Mr. Bradford's still on Ellesmere City Commission, but he was the mayor of the city of Ellesmere. And of course we have Arnold Simpson, Jim Simpson's son, who just retired from the Kentucky State Legislature, who represented the city of Covington and Park Hills and Ludlow in Frankfort, Kentucky.
And I think those are great examples of how African Americans have kind of worked inside the system to make change. Now, like I said before, that African American history in Covington and in Northern Kentucky is rich, and we can go on and on about the different areas, but I would be remiss not to bring up some of the artistic works or like some cultural prominence that some African Americans have held in Covington. And there is a woman that might have been one of the first to run an independent paper in Covington. And can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yes, Patricia Fan. Mrs. Fan was instrumental. She ran the Suspension Press, which was an African American newspaper, and that's a big deal. She worked very hard. She worked very hard getting the message of the African American community out to the public, and she's a good person, and she's one of the legends of our community.
All the names, most of all the names I've had that you mentioned, I've had contact with, and Miss Fan is one that I've had contact with the most. Being a Covingtonian, she has really forged a way for not only myself but people like you as well to kind of make it to the levels that we need to be. Well, I want to thank you so much for joining me today and giving your little your history lesson, and a much needed history lesson in this area. And we'll be right back. Thank you.
Northern Kentucky Community Action Commission is here to connect Northern Kentuckians during this time of crisis. We can provide you with emergency services that are vital to your family's survival, and we're currently connecting with families through the telephone and virtual services. Northern Kentucky CAC has been here for over 50 years, and we know we will get through this stronger, wiser, better, together. Reach out to us today or visit our website at nkcac.org.
Welcome back to Northern Kentucky Community Action Commission's inaugural episode of Action News. My name is Mike Meisner. I am the Financial Empowerment Program Director for NKCAC. And as I'm sure you are aware, tax season is upon us. So with us today, we have Davina Sullivan, who's the VITA Coordinator for Brighton Center in Northern Kentucky. Davina, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So VITA is obviously an acronym. What can you tell me about the program, starting with what it stands for, and then just some general information, like are there any income qualifications to be a part of it, or whatever else you feel like is
Sure.
important to share?
VITA does stand for Volunteer Income Tax Assistance, but many people don't understand that wording. They don't know it's free. Mm-hmm. So we changed it more to be VITA Free Tax Prep.
Okay.
So it's more clear what people were getting into.
Right.
So, and there's no qualifications. There used to be an income limit, but they've erased that, so we can serve anybody.
Great. So free. Anyone is eligible to be a part of it. Can't beat that.
Right.
So our agencies actually kind of complement each other with our VITA programs, because the Community Actions VITA program only serves our rural counties.
Okay.
So Brighton Center serves Boone, Kenton, and Campbell, which is our three northern counties.
Right.
So what can you tell our viewers and me specifically about your locations in those counties?
Okay, we do offer 3 locations. One is Newport, the other is in Florence, and the third one is actually in Grant County.
Oh, okay.
So we can service anybody in the Northern Kentucky region.
Okay, fantastic, fantastic. So compared to more traditional filing locations like H&R Block or Jackson Hewitt or those kinds of places, what types of advantage does filing through the VITA program offer?
Well, the biggest advantage is you're not paying for someone to prep your return.
Sure, sure.
So it's a free service, so they're getting to keep their hard-earned money in their pocket.
Absolutely. And that's a big deal, especially right now.
Yes, absolutely.
So this is obviously not Brighton Center's first go-around with VITA. Can you give me some rough statistics as to how the program went last year, approximately how many clients you served? And
Sure, with COVID we had a little hiccup. We didn't serve as many as we did in previous years, so we only got 615 served.
Okay.
But we did get over $800,000 into the taxpayers' hands.
Amazing.
$200,000 of it was the earned income credit.
Oh, wow. Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for that. So like you said, COVID has thrown a wrench in everything,
Yes.
right? So compared to years past, even last year maybe, how is this year going to look a little different for Brighton Center and the VITA program?
Yeah, this year we're going to be a drop-off pickup location, so it's going to be very limited contact.
Sure.
We're going to have people register online, probably fill out their forms online as well.
Okay.
And then when they arrive, I'll be able to print them off so there's less paper contact going back and forth.
Great, great. And that touches on my last question just a little bit about how clients in those counties can become a part of the VITA program. You mentioned that most of it's going to be online registration. Is there a timeline that Brighton Center is looking at for that to begin, or has that already begun?
Well, we're beginning our Newport site first, and that's going to begin January 30th, and it'll run through April 15th, whatever that Saturday is before the 15th. So the other 2 locations, we're actually still finalizing the details.
Okay. All right, great. Once those details have been finalized, how can potential clients access that information?
We'll have that accessed on our Brighton Center webpage,
Okay.
and also through United Way of Greater Cincinnati. So there'll be a cross contact.
Perfect. I think that's all I've got for you. Is there any other information that you would like to volunteer about your VITA program?
No, it's a wonderful program. I've been involved with it for over 10 years, and the volunteers that we have come in, and then they've been there before I was. So it's just a really neat opportunity to serve the community.
Great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Davina Sullivan from the Brighton Center, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
We'll be right back.
Imagine a place where you can rest, a place where you have your own space to prepare for the day, a secure building, locked gates, safety. 2 bedrooms, maybe 3. It's your imagination. Let's go big and add a bathroom in there too. Your day might begin with breakfast, eggs for the oldest, and a bottle for the baby. This is a place of hope, the place you comfort your children, the place you teach your children to grow, a place for you to grow, offering affordable housing to single parents enrolled or enrolling in higher education. With home base in place, reach for the space that changes your life. Complete with mentorship support, a computer lab, a library, a fitness center, and wow, even your own washer-dryer. This is the place where professional goals meet personal ones. This is the place where you are encouraged to succeed. Imagine a place where you can rest assured that affordable, safe housing is within reach. Visit nkcac.org/services to learn about applying for housing assistance.
We are so excited that you are joining us today at Action News. As you heard, it's February is the start of tax season. So what happens during tax season? We might get a little bit of extra cash. Who loves some extra cash, right? So today we're talking about the Earned Income Tax Credit. So I am honored and privileged to be joined with Katrina Bowman-Thomas, our Executive Director at the Northern Kentucky Community Action Commission. And I want to talk a little bit about the Earned Income Tax Credit. What in the world is it, and how can we get it?
Sure. So the Earned Income Tax Credit was created several years ago really as a means to help people to move and to come out of poverty. And it's really specifically for single parents, for those that make below a certain income level that have children, and it's really a refundable credit that is a boost on their taxes. So a lot of times people can get between $1,200, $2,400, even sometimes up to $3,600 in that refundable credit, which really does move people from that level of poverty out of poverty. So it has really proven to be successful in what it was created to do.
Awesome, especially right now with COVID.
Exactly.
Why is it so important?
Well, really, it's 2 parts. So 1, it helps that individual household to, again, come out of poverty. But 2, when you think about all of the money that comes back to the community, so it supports our businesses. As you said, right now in COVID, all of our businesses need that extra support. So it provides money back to those families, then to be able to give back to our communities, to support our community overall, to hopefully help us move from this point to a new normal.
So statistically, it's proven that families that earn this income tax credit, they don't suffer with so many adverse situations. Can you speak at all about that?
Exactly. Yes.
right now, especially with COVID.
Definitely. You know, as we've seen, Brandon, over these past several months, you know, our families really have been hit the hardest by COVID-19. Our families were the ones that worked at restaurants and all of a sudden found themselves out of a job in one day. And so the earned income tax credit really does give families the money they need to get back on their feet and to be able to sustain themselves. When you don't have the money that you need, it's frustrating. There's pressure. It puts pressure on the children. It puts pressure on the entire family. So by providing that tax credit that relieves some of that pressure and that helps those families really to be able to get stable and to move forward.
One of the wonderful things about our agency, one of the 26 programs that we have in our agency, which we've talked about, is the Financial Empowerment Program.
Yeah.
And I think it's huge that, especially during tax time, that our families take part in that financial empowerment, getting a budget completed, getting that extra cash.
Yeah.
You know, we saw some money coming through due to COVID, but some of that went toward bills or past due things. So this earned income tax credit could really help out our families.
Exactly.
So the best part is get on our website, www.nkcac.org, and contact Financial Empowerment to get that budget completed, to figure out how you can save, open up a savings account, or whatever the case may be.
And you know, another thing about the VITA program that I love is that it's free. You know, when we first started working in the area of volunteer income tax credit, what we noticed is that our families were paying $500, $600, $700 to get that instant loan. And I mean, half of their money was going back to that tax place. So this is a way for families to be able to get that refund in a reasonable amount of time. It doesn't take very long, 2 or 3 days, usually is the norm when they go through the VITA program, and they get all of their money, which, like you said, at this time, they really need.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining us, and we appreciate you for joining us as well, Northern Kentucky. Thank you.
Wow, we have had an awesome episode. I have to say thank you to Commissioner Ron Washington, to the representative from Brighton Center for all of their wonderful information, and to all of my co-hosts. They did a fabulous job on today. We hope that you enjoyed and that you've learned new information about the city of Covington and what's going on in our community. And come back. Next time we'll be talking about Community Action Month, our gala, and so many more exciting things. Thank you so much for joining us on our inaugural episode of Action News, and we look forward to seeing you soon. Thanks.